Will your rest of your class be joining?
Yes, ma'am.
Should we give it another 5 minutes? Can you ask them, remind them all to join, please?
Yes, sure.
And can someone join Teams also?
Yes, ma'am, I will check.
Okay, we'll start the class. So, do you all remember what we did in the last class? Rutuja, do you remember what we discussed in the last class? Rutuja, are you there? Pooja, Manasvi? Are you all able to hear me? If one of you can hear me, please give me a thumbs up or something.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, who remembers what we discussed in the last class? We started a topic called Dharma. Does anybody remember what we mean by Dharma?
The righteous conduct.
Yes. So, Dharma literally translates into that which sustains. Okay. So, righteous
Yes.
conduct is more of what the Western world interprets. But Dharma is basically that which holds, that which sustains, that on which something is resting. So, if my hand is resting on, let's say this is the table, my hand is resting on the table. The hand, Dharma, the table basically is the Dharma. It holds, it sustains. Okay. So, whatever makes something sustainable, whatever holds it, whatever makes it work, gives it a like like a foundation. That is Dharma. Okay. Then we took a example of the wolves in the Yellowstone Park. What was that example about? Can someone tell me?
What is good and what is bad?
Yeah, what is good and what is bad? What was good and what was bad in that story? Go ahead. You just said something. Just go ahead with that. Shraddha spoke just now, right?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am, I can't recall.
Okay. Who recalls? Who recalls the Yellowstone story? Does anybody recall the story of the Yellowstone National Park? Do you want me to run through it again? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Some of you anyway told me you couldn't hear very clearly, so we'll quickly run through whatever we did in the last class. Okay. So we saw that there was usually we think wolves are bad, deer is good, tree is good, right? We usually conditioned into thinking that way. So now what happened is that Yellowstone National Park is can you see my screen? Okay, let
No,
me,
ma'am.
I think 1 second.
Now we can see, I think.
1 second.
Ma'am, the screen is not visible.
Yeah. Now is it visible?
It is loading, ma'am. Yeah, it is now visible.
Okay. So Yellowstone is a place in the US. Okay. In the 18th century, these European settlers came and settled over there. And they had brought with them all their farm animals. So, the cattle, the chickens, this, that. And that time, the wolves, which were nearby, used to attack these settlements, European settlements. Okay. So what happened is that they hunted and killed all the wolves. So by 1800s, the wolves were finished. They were extinct. There were no more wolves in Yellowstone National Park. Then what happened is that, usually we think wolves are bad, right? Because they were hunting and killing they were hunting the livestock, the farm animals. But without the wolves, the deer population in Yellowstone began to grow. Okay. And when the deer population began to grow, they started overgrazing, and they started, because of which the trees were not growing properly. And it became like a desert kind of a situation because the trees were not able to grow because of overgrazing. So much so that almost 200 years later, it saw the worst ever fire. Okay, now how many of you heard this story? How many of you will now remember it? Is there anybody in the class or you all sleeping?
Ma'am, it started burning. The entire city started burning like a desert.
The forest
Yeah, forest.
started burning. Forest fires started happening. See, forest
Okay.
fires usually happen in the summertime. Okay. So it became drier than normal. Usually, even in the summer, because of the trees, there will not be too much of fire. But because the trees started becoming dry, why were the trees dry? Because the deer was eating. Why was the deer eating? Because there are too many deers. There's no wolves to chase them.
Yes.
So overgrazing happened, and the forest, the mountains all started catching fire. And when these fires happen, no, these are like hectares, not acres, hectares of destruction. Huge fires which take 1 month, they are not put out. You might have seen last year there was a fire in California. How many of you know of it? How many of you heard of the California fires last year? Were you following the news?
Yes, ma'am, it was there.
Yeah. Most of the big Hollywood celebrities, they lost their houses. Okay. Again, these are all forest fires. Okay. So Yellowstone saw a forest fire. Why? What was the cause of the fire? The land had become a desert. Why had the land become a desert? Because the deer was eating the trees. Why were the deers overeating? Because there were no wolves to keep them in check. Okay. So then what happened is that they introduced wolves in 1995, so almost 200 years later. And they got only 41 wolves from Canada, so they imported the wolves. And when the wolves came, the deer, which was sitting in one place and eating all the shrubbery, they started running here and there because the wolves were now chasing them. And because the deer was now not staying in one place, the tree had time to grow. Earlier, the tree, just 3, 4 leaves come, the deer will eat it. Then again, another few leaves come, the deer will eat it. So the tree doesn't have time to rejuvenate. Now, because the deer is running, because the wolves are chasing, in one place, if the deer was damaged, the next day they're going to some other place, and the plants over here can rejuvenate. So the willow tree started growing back again. And that was not the only thing. Because the willow trees were able to grow, the beavers, which are a special population of animals that make their house on the rivers, they make dams. Their houses are called dams. They make houses on the rivers. They had almost become extinct. They started getting revived because the willow tree was revived. The willow tree was revived, so the beavers were revived. The beavers then started making their nests or dams on the river. And because of that, the water started getting diverted. The river water started getting diverted, and it started spreading in more areas in Yellowstone. So much so that the whole place got, significantly more wet, and the forest fires reduced significantly. Okay, so this is the story. How many of you understood the story? Now I'm going to ask questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So how do we connect this to dharma? Those of you who paid attention in the last class, tell me, how do we connect this to dharma?
Ma'am, as I told you before, that dharma is a righteous conduct. So
Hmm.
over here, everything which is surviving
Hmm.
in the ecosystem, like
Hmm.
wolves, the deers, and the bears, they are sustaining. If they are sustaining for a long time,
Hmm.
so there is a welfare of the entire society. So it is a righteous conduct in that case, and the environment is balanced.
See, the wolf is chasing animals. How can you call this righteous?
Ma'am, because they are controlling the population in that
Ah,
case.
so it is not so much about righteous conduct as it is about doing your duty. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. He is doing his duty with the
Ah,
wolves.
so you need to do your duty, and what kind of duty based on your nature? So if you're a wolf, you must chase animals. You should not be, basically eating grass, right? The deer eats the grass. What is the job of the beaver? Not to chase the deer. The job of the beaver is to make a dam. So every animal has to do its own job, whatever it is designed for. God made all these creatures, or we can say the universe made these creatures. Each creature has its own specific characteristic. Based on its specific characteristic, it just has to do that just be itself. That itself is its duty. Okay, apart from Aishwarya, has anybody else understood this? Any doubts? Because I'm going to ask, like a, like a large question will come out of this. Just testing your understanding of this Yellowstone example and connecting it to dharma. So how do we connect this to dharma? So what is the dharma of the wolf? Can someone answer me?
Ma'am, dharma of the wolf is like chasing the deer. Like
Chasing the deer.
it's his duty to fulfill his
Correct.
stomach. Like they need to eat the deers to control their hunger. So it's their duty to eat the bears.
Correct. So in the case of the wolf, the duty and the nature are the same. The nature of the wolf is to kill and chase the deer. The duty of the wolf is also to chase and kill the deer. Why? Because that is its job. It is the carnivore. It is the carnivore of the food of that particular food cycle. Right? The deer's job is to eat the grass, eat the trees. That is its job, that is its nature. So the duty
Ecosystem.
and the nature are actually one and the same in the case of animals. Okay. What is the nature of the beaver? So to kind of build those, this little nests, the dams on the river. So the duty and the nature in the case of animals is one and the same. That is what we call dharma. So dharma is, as you mentioned, righteous conduct, but more than righteous conduct. In the case of nature, dharma is basically, do, being true to yourself, doing, just being yourself. So in the case of animals, their own nature is dharma. Their nature itself is dharma. Even though the wolf might seem like it's adharmic because it's hunting and killing, actually that is also needed. Is this point clear? So in the case of dharma, there isn't
Yes.
good
Yes.
and bad as such. A bad wolf will be the one which eats grass. A bad deer will be the one which kills other animals. Okay. So the animal has to just be true to its nature. In that case, it's doing its dharma. How many of you understood this? Is this clear?
Yes,
So in
ma'am.
the case of
Yes, ma'am.
animals,
Yes,
do
ma'am.
we need to teach them dharma?
No, ma'am.
We don't need to teach animals dharma. Why?
That's naturally inbuilt for them.
Correct, beautiful. It's inbuilt for them, it's natural. What they do naturally, that itself is dharma. Is that the case with humans?
No.
No. Why? Because
Because we are intellectual.
we are intellectual and we can do things beyond our nature.
Ma'am,
See,
they are having habit of being in that habitual.
yes, our habits. And you know what? You can go against your nature in the case of humans. Okay.
Right,
And
ma'am.
the
Humans can change, but animals can't.
animals can't. A wolf will never start becoming, very. It'll never start becoming very domesticated. A wolf will always be ferocious. Okay, a wolf will, and it will not just simply kill. It'll only kill when it's hungry. Okay, so animals will basically they know when to start, when to stop. They know how much what is correct and what is wrong because they are acting on nature. In the case of human beings, what is causing this deviation from nature is our greed. So if you give a human being something, the wolf will basically kill one chicken, eat it and go. Once its stomach is full, it will go away. In the case of humans, what they will do, they will see it and they will pack it and they'll take it with them. You've seen people taking more than what they want, right? If let's say you've seen in buffets and all, if there is some nice sweet, everybody will take more than what they want. Some of them will load it on their plate and give it to others. Means they are family members, they won't think about others. So the thing about humans is that we tend to uh, we have our nature is covered because of this greed. But then we can also control our behavior. So you might feel greedy, but you might not still act on it. So what we feel and how we act can be two different things. Okay. So even if we feel greedy, we may do it, we may not do it. Okay. So our nature is dual. We can control our nature. Okay. This is the reason why we in the case of human beings, dharma is not automatically coming to us, it is taught to us because our nature is dual. Did I teach Daivik and Asurik for you guys? Have we covered it?
What, ma'am?
Did we cover the concepts of Daivik and Asurik? Not yet, no?
No, ma'am.
No,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. So maybe I will do that today and then we'll come back to dharma. Okay. So just
Ma'am,
uh-huh.
as you have shared that PPT which we have discussed last class, so that
Mhm.
much is only coming for that minor two.
No, no, no. Minor two is when in May, na?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
You have still some more. Lot
Okay,
more.
ma'am. Okay, so it means that chapter is not yet over. It is going on.
No, no, minor two is still going on.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Right? We will because we are missing a lot of classes, no? There have been some holidays and all of that. So minor two, we will have to cover quite a bit. I will send you the portions till minor two.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. So let me then bring up this topic of Daivik and Asurik. So we saw in the case of animals that the wolf, even though it seems, once again, let me just, I think that it's not very clear, the font. Now is it visible?
Ma'am, the screen is visible.
Hmm. Okay. So we saw that in us there are three things: sattva, rajas, tamas. We saw that, right? We
Three
have
gunas.
the three gunas: sattva, rajas, and tamas. Now, these three gunas work within us, and they basically cause us to behave in a certain manner. Okay. Now we saw that there are vasanas, and because of the vasanas, we act in certain way. Then we also saw that we tend to choose what is prayas, which feels good. But actually we need to do shreyas, which is good for everybody. Okay. So now the wolf, even though it is acting as prayas, it is killing the animal, but overall it is helping the forest by killing the deer. Okay. So when the wolf acts, it is not thinking I should do shreyas, I should do prayers. It is not thinking like that. It is just, being itself. But automatically, because it is doing what it is meant to do, automatically there is shreyas. Okay, is this point clear to all of you? Now, in the case of human beings, no, we have extra intelligence. Okay. We can do so many things. We have extra intelligence. We are smarter than most of the animals from that perspective because we can think and we can create, we can build. You can't expect an animal to build a rocket. We can do those things, right? We can build new scientific things. We come up with the knowledge. So there are many things which make us more creative and in that way smarter than the animals. But what we don't have is an understanding on what is good for everybody. We naturally don't have. We naturally behave in a selfish manner. Okay. Many of us automatically behave in a selfish manner. So there are two types of nature that exists in the human being. One is, what they call the angel and the devil. You would have seen this Tom and Jerry cartoons. How many of you have seen Tom and Jerry cartoons?
Yes, ma'am.
You've seen? Yeah. So sometimes, the angel and the devil will sit on each shoulder, right? And then the angel will say, no, don't do it, don't be bad. And the devil will say, no,
Right,
no,
ma'am.
go and do it, right? So, like that, inside each of us, there is a tendency to do negative things, there's a tendency to do positive things. Whenever we do negative things, that is called asuric. Okay. What is negative? Negative basically means that we are thinking only about ourselves, we are only looking after ourselves. Okay. And the positive is whenever we are doing something which is beneficial. Okay. So whenever we are doing something which is beneficial for others, not just ourselves, but also for everybody, that is Daivik. Now, because a wolf is not thinking Daivik or Asurik. It is basically going to hunt and kill. It's its nature. Okay. But in our case, we can sit and think, should we do this? Should we not do this? If I do this, what will I get? If I do this, what will they get? We are thinking about payoffs. We are saying that if I do this, what will happen? If I do that, what will happen? We are thinking about consequences. We are able to understand consequences and we are able to work based on consequences, which is the reason why for us, we need to be taught what is good and what is bad. Is this point clear to you all? Anybody is there on the call? Are you all awake? So what is this?
Got disconnected in between due to some network issue, but now I'm on.
Okay, what is this Asuric nature? Asuric nature is basically where you don't know really what is good and what is wrong. You're not able to figure out the difference between right and wrong. Okay. So where you're not truthful, you don't do the right things. So in the Bhagavad Gita, he says, Kama Mashritya Dushpuram Dambhamanam madanvitaha. So he's saying that kama, basically wanting, desiring too many things. Okay. Dushpuram, dambaha, that means hypocrisy, arrogance, okay, being very proud. All these things are basically will result in demonic kind of behavior. So whenever we think that only we are right, whenever we say something and do something else, whenever we act with pride and arrogance, okay, just look at it, right? Look at what is happening. Who is following what is happening in the world in Iran? Is anybody following the world? What's happening in Iran? You have President Trump basically blocking. He's saying that no ships cannot go through the strait, right? He's blocking ships from carrying oil. What is this? What kind of behavior is this? Behavior full of pride and arrogance, greed.
Trade
Yeah.
resistance.
Sorry?
Trade resistance.
Correct. He's stopping trade from happening. And is this a good behavior? Would you call this Daivik or Asurik?
Asurik.
Asurik, because it's bad for everybody, right? And it is happening not because of something good, because they're greedy, angry, jealous, there's hatred. So all activity that comes out of this kind of emotion, that is basically Asurik behavior. Is this clear? So they might say that we are saving the people of Iran, but they're not really bothered about the people of Iran. Okay, they are saying, oh, we got rid of the dictatorship. Instead, the problem seems to be more about oil, controlling oil, right? Preventing ships from going. So this is how we know whether something is Asurik in nature. What is Daivik? Daivik means divine. What is divine nature? So divine nature is basically anything which is powerful, which is beautiful, which is glorious. Okay. So whenever you're, let's say, a person who is running a marathon and winning it, that spirit of winning, pure spirit of winning is Daivik. If he pushes someone and then tries to win, that is Asurik.
Demonic. Asurik.
Okay. But if he wins out of his own competition and out of his own, perseverance, out of his own hard work, that is Daivik. Okay. So Daivik is basically doing being your highest version of yourself. Okay. So conquering your fear, having forgiveness, truthfulness, okay, courage, non-violence, charity, okay. All this is basically Daivik. Any doubts over here?
No, ma'am.
Now, over here, if you look at the shloka, it has a lot of very contradictory things. It says joy and sorrow, birth and death, fear and courage, okay? Fame and infame. Why is fame, if fame I can understand is Daivik, why is infame Daivik? I can understand courage is Daivik. Why is fear Daivik? Because without fear, you will not be able to show courage. Without infame, you cannot show fame. Without sorrow, you cannot understand joy. Okay. So that is why he says that there is divinity in both of these extremes. Because it is about transcending that. So a person who is afraid and then shows courage, that is basically Daivik. A person who has got a bad reputation and then corrects a reputation and then gets fame, that is Daivik. A person who's gone through many troubles and then finds, happiness and joy, that is Daivik. Okay. So Daivik is basically transcending your own difficult situation into something better. Does this make sense?
Right, ma'am. So we have to overcome everything and then it becomes Daivik.
Correct. So Daivik is in the situation and the overcoming of the situation. That is why in the shloka, he has put both the negative and the positive, the opposite, sukham and dukkham. Okay, basically joy and sorrow. And then he's saying bhayam abhayam. So basically fear and courage. Okay. So yashaha and ayashaha. So basically fame and infame. So he's basically saying that getting, facing something and overcoming it. That is the highest form of daiva, divine nature. Okay. So divine nature is not suffering. Divine nature is overcoming that suffering, doing something more, showing a better version of yourself. Is this clear?
Got it, ma'am.
Okay. So the Devic nature is basically our evolution and our growth. And the demonic nature is our degrowth. So demonic nature is where we think small. We think mera, and you think negative of others. Devic is where you think positive and not, and if you had only this much capability, you're expanding your capacity. You are becoming something more than what you used to be. Okay. Now, because we have this capability to be both Daivic and Asuric, what is our nature? The wolf's nature, it knows. Wolf is to hunt and kill. Deer's nature is very clear. Deer is very gentle animal. Okay. Now we can be either wolf or deer. We can be both good and bad. So our true nature is something which is very difficult to figure out like that. You all agree with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We can behave in either way. We can think about prayers or shreyas. So because of that, there is a concept called dharma which we have to learn. Okay. Let me just go back to that. So what did you understand about dharma?
Ma'am, humans can be both, like divine also as well as dynamic. But
Right.
it is on our decision making power on what side we choose in which situation.
Correct. Now, if let's say that because humans can be, asuric, humans can be daivic. If we have humans behaving in asuric and greedy manner all the time, what will happen to the world? If humans are only
It will become
operating,
like a hell.
it will become like hell. And that's what's happening now, right? We are doing over mining. We are over exploiting resources. We are polluting the world. So, in our greed, we are doing things which is basically destroying the world around us slowly, but it is getting destroyed. Because that is the asuric part of the human being, which is basically coming out. Okay. So, dharma is basically how do you make yourself, how do you get what you want? How do you fulfill your needs without destroying the world around you? Like, for example, the wolf is going to kill the deer, but it kills only what it needs to feed itself. It doesn't kill all the deer in the Yellowstone National Park. But what did the humans do? The humans killed all the wolves, because of which the Yellowstone National Park itself got into trouble. But what did the wolves do? They only kill as much deer as they want. And when they kill, the world is in balance. But when we kill, the world goes out of balance. Are you all able to see that? So I'm going to ask this question again to see whether you all have understood. What is the difference between the wolf killing and hunting and killing and man hunting and killing?
Ma'am, as an example given of Yellowstone Rock Park,
Hmm.
So over there, initially the humans were the one who killed all the wolves. But
Correct.
later on, the yellow park became that a hell for them because they were not having the plants or vegetation
Correct.
to have their food and fodder. For
Correct.
and moreover, it became a hot desert type of a situation over there. Though
Yeah.
there were deers who were not harming any human, but still humans were getting killed. So the justice which is done by the human beings are giving the harm or hazardous to the nature.
See,
But on the other
basically,
hand,
humans don't know where to stop.
right, ma'am,
You kill
They
they are
can
that.
not having
perform.
boundaries.
Okay, the wolf came and killed a chicken. All right, you chased away the wolf. Okay. But you kill all the wolves, so much so the park itself got into trouble. That is extreme behavior, no? What is the wolf
Yes,
doing?
ma'am.
Is it killing all the deer? No. It is only killing whichever deer it needs, just for fulfilling its belly. It's hungry today, it will kill one deer. Tomorrow, it will not be hungry. Day after tomorrow, it might kill another deer. So the wolf is killing only to meet its hunger. But human beings are killing without any thought, rhyme, and reason. Okay. It came into their thought कि इसको मारना है तो मार दिया. Okay. So there is no balance in what we do. And what did we see is the nature of dharma? Dharma means balance. Okay. Dharma means sustainable. So dharma is balance, dharma is sustainable. And do humans know naturally how to do balance? No,
No, ma'am, humans do not know all this.
we do not know. So
No.
that is why we need to be taught dharma. So if I ask you all the question, why do humans need to be taught dharma? I'm going to ask one of the boys. Can one of the boys answer this? Why do human beings need to be taught dharma? What is the answer you will give? Anybody wants to answer this?
Because humans can do anything against their nature. So,
Correct.
exactly what is the right thing to do, they must be taught.
Exact. Very good. Shraddha, very nice. So, because human beings can act in any way, they themselves are confused what is the right way. The nature is both Daivik and Asuric. We have Daivik and Asuric nature within us. You yourself know. Just think about yourself, right? At some point of time, you know that we all of us have jealous thoughts, all of us have negative thinking, many of us have jealousy, envy, greed. It is there within everybody. There is nobody who is absolutely pure. Okay. For some people, they will behave that way. Some people know how to control their behavior. Okay. So negative thoughts come in human beings all the time. We can't do anything about it. Okay. But we can choose how we are going to act. But if we don't even know how to act, even if that clarity is not there, then we will act in very selfish ways and we'll end up destroying the world around us. So, because humans have both, so this is what you should say. Because humans have both Daivik and Asuric behavior within them, and because human beings with their actions can destroy things around them, and the purpose of Dharma is to make sure that things are sustainable, okay, and things are kept in balance, they need to be taught what is Dharma. Animals automatically, if they behave as per the nature, the world is in Dharma. But in the case of human beings, the human being can destroy the balance. And the example is that when the wolves hunt in Yellowstone, they don't destroy nature. But when human beings hunt in Yellowstone, they end up destroying the whole ecosystem. So that is the proof that human beings don't know how to act in balance. And that is why they need to be taught dharma. So that is why we are all taught dharma. And the whole, what is the name of this Hinduism that we call it? It is called Sanatan Dharma. So the
Sanatan,
basis, Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan means what? Permanent,
which
always.
is
It is
pre-existing
always,
since,
always relevant. It is always relevant.
yes,
So it doesn't mean that today this is the Dharma, tomorrow the some other Dharma. Whatever we follow, so we don't follow religion. Okay. We don't follow religion. We are not saying that you have to pray to a God or B God. No. We are saying that you have to be in balance and in harmony with the world around you. So the core of Sanatan Dharma is not about the worship of a god, but it's about understanding that there should be balance. And how do you bring about the balance? Is this point clear to you all? That is why we call it Dharma.
Yes, ma'am.
That is why we call it Sanatan Dharma. Hinduism and all is a word that came later. Basically, it is Sanatan Dharma. What all falls under Sanatan Dharma? Every different kinds of practices. Okay. So in India, you will see Shiva, Vishnu, Shakti. You will see Buddhism. You will see Jainism. If you go to other parts, no, in Asia, and you will see Korea, you will see Japan. They also do some similar practices as us. They follow similar practices, but they also believe in dharma. Okay. At the end, but they may not call it dharma, they might call it some other name. But essentially, what we are saying is that there is no someone greater than you or lesser than you. The whole world has to be in balance. Okay. So dharma is about bringing the balance.
Okay.
And what is my role in bringing that balance? How do I bring in that balance? So that is Sanatan Dharma. Okay, and that is my Dharma. Is this point clear?
Got it, ma'am.
So, what is my duty in making sure that there is a balance? So, for the wolf, it is very clear. What is the duty of the wolf in balance? It just, when you're hungry, eat the deer. That is the wolf's duty. And by doing that, there will be balance. What is the tree's job in bringing the balance? Nothing, just grow. Okay. What is the beaver's job in bringing balance? Just build the dams. Okay. Which is your own nest only. If you build your nest, there will be balance. What is the river's job? Just flow. Okay. So by doing their normal work, what is as per their nature, automatically things are in balance. But humans are the ones who destroy balance. So now why is this course so important? Because at this point of time, the world is in the biggest imbalance. And that is why we are learning this course. Okay. So in this course, you are basically given the tools. How do you figure out what is balance? And that is what dharma is. Is this making sense to you all?
Yes.
So dharma is your duty. What kind of duty? Duty so that things around you are in balance. So that duty is based on what? Multiple things. It is based on your age. It is based on your own nature. It is based on your family. It is based on your gender. Are you male or female? Okay. It is based on whether are you a king or are you a normal citizen. So it is based on multiple things. All of this come together to define what is the individual's dharma. So my dharma is different, Aishwarya's dharma is different, Shraddha's dharma is different, Suraj's dharma is different. Each person's dharma is different. Okay. Because each of us have a different nature. Each of us have a different family. Each of us have, some of us are male, some of us are female. We have different genders. Okay. So because our circumstances are different, our dharma will be different. Is this clear? So the question, does everybody have the same dharma? What is your answer?
No.
No. Everybody does not have the same dharma. Okay. Our dharma is a combination of many things. Basically, what is my role in this world? Based on that, my dharma. Okay, is this clear? And what is my dharma? That is called swadharma. Swadharma means my dharma. Okay, my individual dharma. Is this concept clear to everybody who did not understand? Who is not able to hear? Who is having microphone problems? I will start sending the transcript. I'm also getting AI to generate the transcript of this class. Okay. So I will send that as the class notes. Will that help you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Last class I generated, it came out pretty okay. So this class also, I will send you the notes. Okay. So for last class, and some of you said you did not get the emails. How many of you did not get my email? I got a bounce message of mdt@mitvpu.ac.in. So did the other guys, fintech guys, get the mail?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So can someone in the fintech team forward this to the marketing team with me on copy?
Yes, ma'am.
Who will do that? Manasvi, will you do that?
Yes, ma'am, I will do.
Okay, just mark me on copy. All right, because I think there seems to be maybe external people cannot send mails, only internal people can send. It seems to be a rule like that. So I will talk to the university why I'm not able to send this mail. Okay. So today's class, so last class, please share it with the marketing teams. And this class, I will again try. And if it bounces, I will ask, Manasvi to send it to those who didn't get the mail. Is this okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now what is this Swadharma? Okay. Swadharma, as we saw, is multiple things, right? Varnashrama, Kula Dharma, Samanya Dharma, Purusha Dharma, Stri Dharma. So basically, based on multiple things, but three main things are there. One is Samanya Dharma, one is Ashrama Dharma, and one is Varna Dharma. What is Samanya Dharma? Samanya means general, the general Dharma. What is the general Dharma? Something which applies to all human beings. So, what is a dharma that will apply to all human beings? Can you guess? What are our duties as a human being?
Kindness.
Kindness, correct. So, kindness, honesty,
Help,
truthfulness,
helping
not
each other.
lying, helping each other, cleanliness, okay, some kind of
Humanity.
compassion. Yeah, humanity, compassion. These are general dharma for everybody. If you are a human being, this is your dharma. Doesn't matter whether you're American or Russian or Japanese or Indian or Pakistani, this is your dharma as a human being. Okay. If you are not some wild animal. Okay. It doesn't matter if you're a Hindu or a Muslim or a Christian or whoever. That is why in every religion you will see the same things. They will say, don't lie, don't steal, don't harm others. Everywhere they will say the same thing. Because this is the Samanya Dharma. Okay, is this point clear?
Got it, ma'am. So it is applicable to all.
Samanya Dharma is applicable to everybody. If you want to be called a human being, this is the bare minimum you must be. Okay? The bare minimum.
Ma'am,
Hmm.
ma'am, just one thing that as we're discussing about Samanya Dharma, the PPT slide is on Mahabharata or something.
Oh,
Have you changed the slide?
yeah, I think let me share again. I think that is because it was another 1 second. Thanks for telling me. I'll just
My pleasure, ma'am.
1 second. Where's that? Meeting controls. Okay. So in the previous slide, what I said is that Swadharma, which is your own dharma, is a combination of multiple things. Varnashrama, family, which is Kula Dharma, whether you're male or female, so Stri and Purusha Dharma, okay? Whether you're a leader or a follower, Raja and Praja Dharma. So we will see some of this in more detail, all right? But at the bare minimum, there are three components. The first component is Samanya Dharma, then Ashrama Dharma and Varna Dharma. Ashrama, do you all remember what is ashrama? Who remembers what is ashrama? It's here on the slide. So, what is ashrama?
Ma'am, about the past experience, what we have from our life. So our decisions making changes according to the past situations or the things we have learned from the past life.
No, ashrama is basically the stage of life. Remember, we saw that we have four stages in life. What are the four stages? First, we start off as students, okay? Then we become what do we call independent, productive adults, where we work and we have a family. Then we become mentors, okay, and retire, and then finally we go. This is sannyasa, okay. We saw this brahmacharya, grihastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. These four ashramas, you remember? Who remembers? So the duties in each of this are different. What is the duty in the student stage? To study. What is the duty in the householder stage? Grihastha. It is to basically support your family and take up to a profession well. What is the duty in the Vanaprastha ashrama is to start detaching from everything, mentor people, and hand over the, you know, control to the others and step aside. That is Vanaprastha. And what is sannyasa? Only focus on your self-development. Okay. So the ashrama dharma is basically our duty as per the stage in life. In the ashrama dharma, at brahmacharya, you're not expected to work. Okay. You're only expected to study. In sannyasa, you're not expected to support a family. You're only expected to meditate and take care of yourself. So your duty changes based on the stage in life. Do you all understand this concept?
Yes, from now I can recall.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So ashrama is that based on your age, based on the stage in life, there are some duties that you need to do. Okay. So, what is your duty? So, Samanya Dharma is that what is your duty as a human being? Okay, so don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat, those things. Ashrama Dharma, if you are a human being and you are in this, as a student, then your extra duty is also to study. If you are a human being and you are a householder, then your extra duty is to look after your family and to take a profession and do it well. If you are also in the Vanaprastha stage, then your duty is to basically mentor others, mentor the next generation, and start stepping back. Okay. If you are in the sannyasa ashrama, then your duty is basically to disengage from everything and basically move towards more of spiritual focus. Okay. So that is the ashrama dharma. It is the dharma, it guides us on what is our duty during based on the stage in life. Okay. I think we are coming close to time now, so I will stop here. The Varna Dharma is based on the guna, okay, and nature. We saw the Varnas, right? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya. So we will take this again in more detail in the next class. Are you all understanding? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
This is important. Okay. So I don't want to rush through it. So if you're not getting it in the next class, we will discuss again. I'll send you the transcript of the class. Okay. So,
Ma'am,
right,
attendance for today.
I'm taking the attendance now. Okay. One second. That attendance file is not open. Okay. Meghna,
Present, ma'am.
Rutuja, present. Prithviraj, absent. Sri Krishna, absent. Suraj,
Present, ma'am.
Vinith, absent. Pooja, absent.
Absent.
Okay. Abhishek,
Present, ma'am.
Mayur, absent. Aishwarya, present.
Present,
Bharat,
ma'am.
absent. Bharat is absent. Santosh, absent.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Please respond. Dhaval, absent.
Present, ma'am.
Dhaval is present. Rehan, is absent. Shraddha, present. Kedar,
Present, ma'am.
absent. Prerna, is Prerna present?
She is absent, ma'am.
Prerna is absent. Savari,
She is absent.
is still absent. Huh? She's been absent for many classes.
Ma'am, she is actually having some health issue.
Okay. Yash, present or absent? Absent.
Yes, ma'am, absent.
Manasvi, present. Sangam,
He is
Present, ma'am.
present.
Sangam is present. Okay. So are you all able to understand the concept?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We will discuss in the next class. We have missed a few classes because of the holidays. I'm going to ask for extra classes. What is the best time to schedule it?
Ma'am, on Wednesday you can take, because on Wednesday we are having only 2 lectures or maybe 1 lecture.
Okay, Wednesday. So maybe this Wednesday I'll not be able to take. Next Wednesday I will take a couple of extra classes. Are you also okay with a longer class on Thursday? 2 hours on Thursday?
Ma'am, on Thursdays actually we are having other classes also. Like we have 2 hours of marketing classes, the marketing students.
Okay.
But if you can schedule them on evening, then it is fine.
I'm okay. I can do it in the evening also. I don't have a problem. Any time of the day is fine. So I will talk to
Yes.
Vaishnavi and I will get some extra classes scheduled. If not, we will miss, we will not be able to complete the portions. When is your minor two?
2nd May.
2nd May, no? So we need to do some extra classes next week. Okay, I'll talk to Vaishnavi and get this done. Okay. All right.
Sure,
Thanks,
ma'am.
everybody. Yeah. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.